My apologies for shaky handy cam here. Let's see here, let's widen that out. Oh, that's as wide as it goes. So what I have is a Harbor Freight blasting enclosure. Okay, so now I bought, it was like $199 on sale, plus, you know, the coupons and all that jazz. And what I got, all right, so we'll get into this. All right, so it was $199 for the enclosure, and then I purchased the Harbor Freight vacuum extractor that goes with it. Now, there's a couple things before you go out and buy yourself the $99, $199 Harbor Freight sandblasting cabinet. There's a bunch of caveats with it. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I am a painter. I've been a painter my whole life. Surface preparation and painting is my thing. So, let me just do a quick overview of what I had to do to make this unit usable at all. I'm hoping that I can actually show exactly what I did, because some of it is internal. So basically what you buy when you get the Harbor Freight blasting cabinet. Oh, Tiki! Ah, look, there's Tiki! Oh, I dropped my glasses. Oh, Tiki! You want to go in the blasting cabinet? Huh? We'll sandblast you? Make you a hairless dog? Okay. So, what I ended up doing was, well, the first thing I did was obviously I mounted the vacuum on the side. Now, the vacuum itself does work, but it requires pretty much constant maintenance. I'm not going to take it apart. Maybe I will do a whole blasting cabinet thing and show exactly what I did, or show even more of what I've had to do with this thing. So it bolts right onto the side here. Actually, I think I may have had to drill holes and bolt it in this way. It's whatever, neither here nor there. So that was the first thing that I did, was buy this. And you have to have one of these. You can't use a blasting cabinet without a vacuum. I don't recommend using I do not recommend using a shop vac unless you want to burn your shop vac up. The biggest issue with this thing is it's hellaciously noisy. There's no muffler on it whatsoever. It draws great. It'll suck the cabinet into itself when the filter's clean and everything. But man, is it a fucking mess. I mean, it is noisy. And there's a drain here on the bottom. You just flip that open, and those buckets, actually, that bucket right there is what I dumped the used media into. My media is beat. It's beat to death. You get probably 2, maybe 3 recycles out of any media, and then it's just no longer, it just turns to absolute dust. So the other thing I have down here, and I got this off the internet, is it's an electric sander. So that electric sander vibrates the entire machine. So you don't have to beat on the side of it with a hammer. So this is the inside of the machine here. These machines are notorious for 2 things. Major one is clogging. The other is running out of media while you're blasting. Now there's a hose that runs down inside of here that comes off of my air inlet. So I also have 2 air inlets in here. Let's see if you can see them. Yeah, there's 2 air inlets in here. One is for the actual blasting cabinet itself, and this one runs down in very, very bottom of the machine, which is used to push air through the media to keep the media circulating. The other addition to this unit is this blasting nozzle. Oops, I'm just running shit all over the place. Which is this blasting nozzle. Now this is a Venturi system. It's not pressure feed, it's a Venturi, so it's a siphon. This is a scat blasting nozzle assembly with a foot treadle, which the foot treadle actually did come with the unit, which is pretty much the only thing that I've reused from the original blasting setup. And if you must know, I'm using a carbide tip in there because the ceramic ones just don't hold up. Ceramic tips last maybe one blasting session using aluminum oxide. It's just it just doesn't work very well. The other thing I have here is I've got an air water separator that I added. So this is the air water separator. Mine's actually not working properly. You can also regulate the pressure. I always run pretty much wide open, which has screwed me in the past, but it is what it is. And then there's a water separator. This should have a desiccant separator on it because water in your blasting media is bad. And just for, you saw how big the plate was, the plate's in there. They have tear-offs on the inside here. Seeing inside the blasting cabinet has always been a problem. This has a fluorescent lamp in it right now. I should probably take the fluorescent lamp out. I don't know if you can see it. There's a fluorescent lamp in there now. I should probably take that out and replace it with an LED setup. And then there's my foot treadle. That foot treadle actually came off of my power hammer. I have the foot treadle because I could cut it because my big fat fucking feet don't fit inside the thing. I don't know, they made them for like Chinese bound foot ladies. And then this has a quick separator on it, so I can use that foot treadle on something else if I need to. Oops. Something else if I need to. All these fittings, all this stuff, none of that came with the blaster. So, long story short, none of my stories are ever short, is if you're going to buy this blasting cabinet, you're just buying the enclosure. If you are hey, Tiki, get out of there. If you are the strictest of hobby guys, I mean, you're going to use this thing maybe once or twice a year to blast some rust off a plate or a pan or something, I guess it's okay out of the box. I had so much trouble with the original setup from Harbor Freight that finger down. There we go. So at the end of the at the end of the day, you might be better off buying a more commercial industrial one that's already set up. I have probably I've got close to $1,000 in that by the time I was done buying all the stuff, driving around and getting it. I mean, I had $500 in the machine and I've got $500 in extras. And even now, the blasting cabinet itself works. The blaster works. The scat blast works great. But I'm still having problems with the vacuum. So it just clogs too fast. And that could be the media. That could be a lot of things. There's a jiggler on the side of the thing so you can knock the filter out. And cleaning the filter is not a pleasant experience. So that's the blasting cabinet. You know, take it for what it's worth. I love it because I'm going to blast the mill scale off that stuff right now. Take 30 seconds, I'm done. But it took a lot of time, it took a lot of money. The other thing, it's vitally important, is air. You absolutely, positively, I don't give a shit what anybody tells you on the internet. The hive mind can go fuck themselves. You need to run 14 CFM at 120 pounds through this thing because it will gobble air like nobody's business. You are running an open air line. So if you buy a pancake compressor, you buy one of those pieces of shit from Harbor Freight that are 3 horsepower, blah, 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 10 CFM. Yeah, bullshit. You need something. I have video of my compressor. I have a 14.5 CFM, 5 horsepower, 80 gallon snap-on air compressor, and even that can't keep up with that. And that air compressor will run an entire body shop. I can run 3-4 DAs, impact guns, whatever. It'll keep up with that. It can't keep up with that sandblaster. Now, take it for what it's worth. You know, you get maybe 10-15 minutes max, and then you have to shut down, let the air build back up, because anything, when it drops below 90 pounds, it just doesn't want to pick up right. So, all right, so back to where we were. Tiki, get out of there. Get out of there, Tiki. No, no, no.